All right, we are rounding out our interviews here in New Orleans, live with Robin and Scott, and checking out our last sweet interview with Aaron Holland.
Looking forward to this last interview, and no better way to celebrate coming to a close here at ISTE than a sweet treat. Pralines are an amazing sweet treat here in New Orleans. They're amazing. We're going to enjoy these while you enjoy this interview.
No words. Hey friends, Robin and Scott here with Live with US Microsoft EDU. We are here with the amazing Aaron Holland from Onslow. Aaron, tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, and why you're here at this conference.
Well, Robin, I'm a digital learning and teaching facilitator for Onslow County Schools. We have an amazing team of DLTs and technicians that support our teachers and our students. Our main goal is to get into the classroom, support our teachers, make sure that they're using technology to enhance their teaching and to enhance that student learning, rather than just choosing tools because they think they need to put the kids on the computer.
Love it. Yeah, it's never about just putting a kid on a computer, for sure.
Right. It's not. It's funny. And that's been kind of a common theme of a lot of the interviews we did this week for the show and the conversations, right? Like the intentionality, the purpose, not just putting things. Talk about why that's so important. Like, if you just throw devices out there or throw tools out there, it kind of falls apart. Like, why is that intentionality, that planning, that team connection so valuable?
Yeah, that's a great question, and we've been focusing on that, especially over these last couple of years when we've had to resort heavier into the tools and into the devices than maybe in the past. But as teachers, as educators, we know that our main purpose is to instruct our students. We want our students to learn. We have a set of standards that we have to teach. So our approach in Onslow County has been to look at our instructional framework, to look at what we need to teach our students, and then to choose the tools that are going to support those goals.
It's great. I mean, and that's a great way to segue to the next question, which is like goal setting for the students, right? You want to create vision for the students and their expectations. What does that look like? Because so much of the focus can sometimes be on your team, right? The professionals, the teachers that are doing it, but what about, where do the students fit into this whole piece and goal setting for them, bringing them along in the process?
Yeah, absolutely. This past year especially has taught us what we've really always known, but it's that we have got to engage our students in the classroom. So student engagement is a driver of what we're doing at Onslow DLT. We want to make sure that our students are going into a classroom and having technology that provides them with an authentic learning experience that is going to inform, you know, maybe a choice for a job in the future or get them college and career ready. That's our main goal. That's, I think, what we all want to do as educators.
Sure.
Yeah, so going back to the student piece, how, you know, as you are deciding which technologies to put in and you know, make sure that they're aligned into teaching the right curriculum and goals that you want your students to achieve, tell me how maybe technology has serviced maybe some students that didn't have a voice in the past. I'm sure you've have seen this, you know, thing where maybe a student who's really quiet now has a place. Can you share a little bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, so many of the tools that we use, that is something that we look at before we even think about using it. Is it going to give an authentic voice to every student in every classroom every day? And so we've really kind of grabbed on to like the Microsoft Learning tools, the immersive reader, making sure that that student has agency and can launch the immersive reader when they feel like they need it. They don't have to wait for their teacher to launch it for them or to differentiate an assignment for them. They have the control over that. Reading progress is another one that game changer, right? We just think that it is going to empower our students so much because they can go read that assignment through Teams, and their teacher can get that feedback through Teams and talk to that student one-on-one, and they don't have to read that assignment out loud in front of the class, especially if they have maybe some reading deficiencies that they're embarrassed about. Flip has been another one that
well said, by the way.
that has really allowed our students to control how they share things in class. If they want to do the voice only option because they don't want to be on camera, they've got that option. And again, it's about student agency. They can launch it themselves. And then if they are kind of okay being on camera or want the fun features of the camera but still don't really want their full face, they can use some of those filters. The Minecraft filter in there has been a cool one that gives them that pixelated look. So all about letting the student have control has really empowered our students to feel more comfortable speaking up when maybe they wouldn't have felt comfortable in the past.
All right, which takes me to student performance. Can you talk a little bit about what you guys are seeing with your students and performing, and you know, where they were pre-pandemic, where they are during the pandemic, and where they are now? Yeah. How has having the system set up really enabled students to perform or not? Tell us a little bit more.
So we actually saw something amazing happen during the pandemic that I know not everywhere experienced. We already were using Microsoft Teams. About 85% of our school system was already using Teams. So when everything got shut down for the pandemic, all our teachers had to learn was how to do a voice call with their students and how to share their screen. All the students had to learn about Teams was how to join the voice call. So our teachers only lost 1 day of instruction just for a little of extra training during that first spring of COVID. So our students didn't really skip a beat. The schedule for the students did not get disrupted. They still had their normal school schedule for the remainder of the school year. Then the following year when we came back, our state decided to do a tiered system where half the students would come in on Monday, Tuesday, everyone was remote on Wednesday, and half the students would come in Thursday, Friday. And we did synchronous learning throughout the year in Microsoft Teams. So no matter where the student was learning from, school or home, they were all hearing from their teacher at the same time every single day. So there was, again, no interruption to the school schedule, no transition that they had to worry about where they were kind of on their own for 3 days and now they're back in school all of a sudden for 2 days. So we saw amazing growth compared to the state after last year because our teachers were able to just teach. They didn't have to plan for 2 separate lessons, and the students were able to just go to school every day. So we actually saw a lot of growth, which was super just so impressive what the teachers and the students were able to do.
Yeah, and I think you guys are kind of the outlier. We're not seeing that or hearing that across the rest of the United States. At least we're continuing to hear that teachers are still struggling to get students caught up, much less get them into an area of growth.
Yeah, and we definitely had some struggles still coming back this year. You know, before COVID, our district experienced a hurricane and our students lost 9 weeks of school. So for 3 years, our students did not have a full school year. So this past year was super, you could tell they didn't have the stamina to be in school every single day for an entire school year. So we definitely had the growing pains coming back and getting back to a normal schedule, if we can call anything normal anymore.
Right.
So we definitely had growing pains this year. We definitely are experiencing a lot of the hardships that everywhere is experiencing, with people just being tired, people not feeling that they're able to do all the things that they need to do because of either learning loss or because the students just don't remember how to be in a classroom all day with their peers again. Right. So we definitely have some of those issues as well, but I think the biggest thing that's kind of kept us going is that we never had to really stop school.
Yeah, it makes a big difference to have that continuity, right, moving forward. You mentioned something really interesting there about this past year, and I think we've heard this theme a lot, that many people around the country in the education space and elsewhere had this feeling of, okay, we're getting back to normal, right? Whatever that phrase means, we're going to come back, we're moving forward, and then the disappointment of not being there, I think, is what wore everybody out, right? So as we turn the page to 22, 23, how do we move the ship back forward? Like, what are you all doing to reinvigorate teachers, to fill their bucket, to inspire them, and maybe the students and families too? Like, what does that look like as we move into the next school year and maybe even beyond?
Yeah, exactly. For the teachers, I think it's all about support. They have got to know that people have their back. So our role as digital learning facilitators is, what can we do to support our teachers in the classroom? If it is offering PD, if it's coming into your classroom and co-teaching a lesson, what can we do to support? For the students, it's, again, I go back to that engagement. We have got to get them engaged. We know this past year that engagement looks different post-COVID than it did before. So what can we do to kind of re-inspire our students? And things like Minecraft EDU have been a huge help this year, especially for re-engaging our students. And something that we've been talking about in our team over the summer as we look ahead to next year is just asking that question: are we preparing our students for our past, or are we preparing them for their future? Right. And so whatever we can do to look ahead with them, you know, we see those statistics all the time that students that we have now are going to be going into jobs that don't even exist yet.
And that percentage keeps getting, it was 60, now 70, now even greater, right?
Yes. So how can we, without necessarily knowing what those jobs are going to be, how can we still provide them those authentic learning experiences that are going to help them as they move forward? And you know, it's all about collaborating with their peers, communicating with their peers, and then being given the opportunity to just create. And Minecraft
all those
is one.
soft skills that are actually hard to learn.
I know, and it's so hard
true.
to learn, and it's so hard to assess how well that's going, but it is so important.
So thinking about looking forward, obviously you came here to ISTE this week. What are you hoping, or what have you learned here this week so far that you're hoping to take back and implement or share back to Onslow?
Well, the biggest thing, I won't say that I've learned, but that I remember now that I'm here at ISTE, is the connections with the people. I mean, that's what we've been waiting for, right?
100%.
So the connection that we have here, I can't necessarily bring that exact connection back to my teachers, but the inspiration that I get from all the amazing people that are here, all of the amazing people, especially in the MIE community, I can take those tools back to my teachers and help fill their toolkit, and hopefully me coming back kind of inspired and engaged is gonna, even if it helps one teacher, you know, it was worth it, right? But I think coming here and just, everybody is so willing to share with each other, everybody is so excited to be back together, and I think the people here have really been reinvigorated. So I hope that spreads when all of us go back to our schools.
Yeah. I know one of the things that I just get super giddy about just being here, I mean, obviously the connections, but I think, you know, we've just been hearing so much about teachers being so unhappy and a lot of people leaving the profession, both teachers, school leaders, you know, higher education faculty, but there are thousands and thousands of teachers here that are super excited to be in education. So for everybody out there listening that feel like the news is talking a lot of people leaving, and it is true, people are leaving in droves, we understand, and that's happening in corporate America as well. People are changing jobs, reshuffling around, but it's just nice to see and hear good news too. So to look out here and see the thousands of educators walking these halls, connecting with each other, engaging with different folks, sharing what they know, giving examples, kids interacting over here as well. I think it makes me hopeful, and it's a bright spot in sometimes this a little bit of a dark world that I feel like we've been living in.
And it reminds us too that everybody else is going through the same thing. And that kind of helps, right? It doesn't take away the struggle, but it helps to know that we're not in it alone. So it was funny just coming up here to meet with y'all. I was walking down the hall and two teachers were talking about all of the people that they saw, and they were like, I got a picture with so-and-so, and I saw so-and-so, and I talked to so-and-so. And that is what it's all about, that excitement to be back here together, the excitement to learn, the excitement to connect. And I'm really hoping that kind of like you said, even though there are plenty of people who are not happy, there are plenty of people here who are happy, and that joy is going to be contagious.
Yeah. All right. Well, speaking of happy, you know, we're in this happy city of New Orleans. A lot of music, vibes, good food,
celebrations.
Good fun, celebrations.
Yep.
It's all about celebrating this community and in this city. So just kind of fun question. So since you've been in New Orleans thus far, what has been your favorite takeaway, maybe favorite food, sighting, whatever? What's been your favorite?
Well, I'm actually originally from here. So my favorite has been just kind of being back home, that nostalgia, especially with the food. You know, New Orleans is known for its food, and my team who's here with me, it's been really fun getting to recommend restaurants and things like that to them, and then them telling me that their meal was delicious. And I'm like, yes, that crawfish bread was amazing.
I told you. Love that. Definitely a great place for all things food. I certainly have had more than my share this week. I'm going home and getting on the Peloton right away. It's easy to just keep eating here.
But we've walked so much, right?
That's a fair point.
Yeah.
I like the way you think.
Yeah. Well, Erin, we are so grateful for all that you do, for the support that Onslow is providing for your students and for your teachers, and we're just grateful to have you in our MIE community. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Robin.
Great way to wrap the week up. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Take care, everybody. What a fantastic way to end the week, Robin, of our amazing interviews with Erin Holland. Loved hearing from her, loved learning from all the folks that we sat down with this week. Really just a great time connecting with our MIE expert family.
Yeah, and I mean, just all about celebration. Super proud of all of the educators, the school leaders that were out here at ISTE this week, choosing to learn something new. And we've got some friends coming through. Hello, friends.
You're good.
It's good.
No worries. Keep going. That's part of New Orleans, right? No worries.
No, it was really an amazing week this week, and I'm super proud of all of my colleagues here at Microsoft for being here in New Orleans, boots on the ground, listening to our educators, our school leaders, our student voice throughout this entire ISTE conference to make sure that we are being top of mind, putting our ears out there, listening to the ground of our users using these products in the classroom. So it's a great way to end the week. And speaking of ending the week, it's all about celebrating the week, right? So what better way to do that than at Cafe Du Monde here in New Orleans? Are we about to dig into some delicious beignets?
Some fresh beignets. I literally have not, I've been here a week, have not had any. It's my first beignet, so I'm looking forward to it. I'll let you do that. Let you do the honors.
Well, you know what you're supposed to do with the beignet, right?
I know what's coming. Yeah, I knew exactly what's coming. I have more respect for you, so I won't do it. But cheers to you.
Cheers.
Thanks, y'all. Amazing. Very good.